Well, have we recovered yet from the trade deadline yesterday? We'll find out as the Cardinal, I guess I don't want to say second half of the season, but the limping to the finish line of the Cardinals 2025 season begins tonight in San Diego. Joe Roderick, Hunter Mulholland with you here on Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar here on STL Sports Central. All content brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And Hunter, we have right off the start here some Cardinal roster moves. You knew they were coming. We knew they were coming. It was a matter of what actually would happen. But as you see there in the graphic, Nolan Arenado to the injured list. Nolan Gorman is off now. He'll be in San Diego tonight. And then we also, per Katie Wu, we'll see Ryan Fernandez, Roderick Munoz, and Andre Granillo in the bullpen tonight for the Cardinals. It's a new look for the final 2 months of the season.
Yeah, I think you saw this coming. Obviously, with the trades, you had to replenish the bullpen. It was kind of I wouldn't say it was necessarily a question of who it was going to be. I think Granillo being up and down with the Cardinals recently, same with Munoz, kind of solidified those two as guys that were going to come up when Helsley and Maton and Matz were moved. I think the last spot was really the third spot, whether it was Fernandez or Roycroft.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to say that Roycroft seems to be that, it's been a while since we've seen Roycroft. It's been a really long time since we've seen Fernandez. I feel like both of them are going to be on that Memphis shuttle a lot these last 2 months of the season, with losing essentially four arms with Fetty too, and now with John King on the IL. Like, you're going to see, whether you like it or not, you're going to see some Chris Roycroft and some Ryan Fernandez here in August and September.
And the thing is that Fernandez last year was fantastic. He was slotted in to be the third guy and fourth guy, really, with Maton, Romero, and Helsley in the bullpen. But then he comes out this season, struggles at the beginning, and gets sent down, has never been seen again back up with the Cardinals.
It's just it's a story that happens all too often in all of Major League Baseball. This isn't just a Cardinal thing. It's not just a Cardinal issue. It's not, it's not one of those other things that, Cardinal fans can sit and, blame Mo about that they enjoy doing so much. It's you look at bullpens throughout all of baseball, guys get it and lose it real fast. A lot of times. The Cubs just released Ryan Presley yesterday, who, a few years ago was one of the top closers in baseball for the Astros. He goes to Chicago, boom, it's gone. It's gone. He loses it, and you drop him.
Relievers are the most volatile asset in all of Major League Baseball, and it's every year you see guys have it at the beginning. They have it for 2 months, and then they lose it, and all of a sudden they're down. Look at Cincinnati. They sent down Alexis Diaz early in the season. Now he's with the Dodgers, but guys lose it in the bullpen so much more often than they lose it at the plate, and that they lose it as a starter. I think there's more trust there. And you're usually in your bullpen, it's usually a lot of younger guys more recently than not. It's been younger players. So they have options that you can use where you can kind of shuttle them back and forth between AAA and the major leagues and be able to get by an entire season. And now you're going to have to see Ryan Fernandez is going to have to step back in. He had a solid season in Memphis, 29 games, a 3.12 ERA. That's not bad by any means. Now, what is it going to be when he comes back up and he sees major league lineups again?
We'll see what this new bullpen looks like. A late game lead, a late inning lead. It'll be fascinating to see how things play out now with the loss now of Phil Maton and with Matt's now gone, and of course Helsley gone. So JoJo is going to stay in one of those high leverage spots. It's who kind of gets built around that, and that's a question that maybe Ollie answers before the game tonight, now that he knows who is on hand for him, or maybe that's something that they just kind of keep us waiting for, and we see once the 6th, 7th, 8th inning rolls around, and we kind of figure it out as we go along. So notes to watch for tonight as the game gets closer. 8:40 start time locally, as the Cardinals are in San Diego tonight, and we'll get into a bit of that later on, and I'll kind of revisit some comments that Mike Claiborne made earlier in the week with me when we were doing Card Central 365. I believe it was on Wednesday when he made the comments that he did. The other news, as we alluded to earlier, is Nolan Arenado on the injured list. Nolan Gorman now called up, and this is true runway right now. Nolan Gorman should be your third baseman nonstop here for the next 2 weeks. And this is 2 weeks of hell that the Cardinals are about to enter into for the most part in this schedule. When you look at 4 of the next 5 opponents that they have, throw Gorman to the Wolves and see what he does.
Gorman obviously is going to have to be the main runway guy. I guess maybe you could say Sajaci earns some playing time there, but I think with how much time you have spent on Gorman at the major league level and wanting him to be that middle of the lineup bat and that consistent offensive producer that you want him to be, he's going to have to earn this runway, and he's going to have to show it against this a tough stretch that they're going to have to go play. They've got San Diego tonight, and they just bulked up right ahead to go and make a run at the Dodgers. So Gorman's going to have to show it. He did on Wednesday night in his rehab game, homered and doubled. So obviously that's Double-A baseball, but it's going to be nice to see, okay, is this the true changing of the guard? Is this really like kind of the end of Nolan Arenado? Is he actually going to get moved in the offseason since he didn't go at the deadline?
So you now have, when you look at what they have available with Walker's back healthy, you are seeing consistent outfield appearances with Burleson. Donovan's there now at second base every day. Gorman's there at third now. We are starting to see more and more of this consistent runway that I was hoping to see at the beginning of the year, though a runway that does not consist of Lars Nootbaar in the mix. And one of the big things is not only, okay, how's this offense going to go without Lars and with these 8 available plus the JC, I guess let's say, yeah, let's go with 8. Let's go with 8 and let's forget about the catching position right now. Let's just wipe that out of our mind at the moment of any offense that's coming your way out of the catcher spots on this team. I think another thing you are doing now over the next month, and this is something I complained about yesterday when we were doing the trade deadline show, when it was all said and done, when you knew the moves that were made and you kind of knew ahead of time that they came out and said, hey, once Maton's moved, we're done. And then Mo said in his press conference afterwards, he said, look, if any of the hitters were going to go, we needed to be blown away by it. And we weren't. My issue with that was it didn't even crack a window, in my opinion, to get JJ Weatherhold up here in September because nothing was opened. An injury, maybe that does it. Maybe an injury to a guy like Arenado does it, but Nootbaar's coming back soon. And when he does, that's another piece to the puzzle you have to figure out. I would like to see JJ Weatherhold get major league at bats in September. And right now with this roster, I don't know how that happens.
I don't know where they fit it in either. I kind of wanted to talk about this too. I wanted to see a clear direction at the trade deadline. I didn't see that. I saw they took advantage of a reliever market on an expiring contracts, and that makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do if you're not in contention. But I wanted to see a clear direction. You have to make decisions. You have to unclog avenues for especially guys like JJ Weatherholt that are going to be moving up through the system and have already excelled at Double-A and Triple-A now and is getting ready to and pushing for a major league roster spot in his first full season of professional baseball. I would like to have seen somebody be moved. It wasn't necessarily it had to be this person. It was somebody has to go because you have to start clearing some space because JJ Weatherholt's going to be here next season.
Yeah.
And you got to find a way to get him to play because he's not going to be up here and be a Sajaci and sit on the bench.
And maybe that's something, maybe that is a thing that you just let Chaim Bloom kind of have control over this offseason where you flip 1 or 2 of those bats for pitching for a starter because you're going to have some openings there. One for sure with Michaelis being gone. So maybe that's you're just letting him be the one in charge of that. Let me throw this up here from Dallas saying that Nolan Arenado made a fool of himself during this past offseason, had an opportunity to play meaningful baseball, but thought he was still an all-star, and now the Cards are paying. He earned Nolan Arenado in his career has earned that no trade clause. He earns the ability to exercise that no trade clause. And when the Astros traded Kyle Tucker and then tried to pivot and go and get Nolan Arenado, they kind of looked at that and said, okay, are you guys going to contend? That was before Christian Walker was in the mix, and he has the right to do that. And he did. And in that clubhouse, in that locker room down in spring training, this was a team that believed that they could compete for a playoff spot. And again, they were a half game out, 1.5 games out at the All-Star break. They were a team that was competing for a playoff spot. And in their mind, they had the roster to do it. They didn't have the pitching to do it. They didn't have the consistent hitting to do it, but the record was what the record was. So I don't think that's him making a fool of himself. And this on top of this, Arenado holding the Cardinals hostage. I don't agree with that either. I don't agree that he's holding the roster hostage. He didn't want to go there. There wasn't a team on the list of approved trades that he was willing to go to for that. Just the Arenado hate is strong right now, by the way, in the comments. Eddie saying Arenado will probably not play another game this season. Again, another thing I absolutely disagree with, because if this is the case, I mean, he's struggling. Yeah, he's hurting. He's missed games with his shoulder injury that's putting him on the IL. I guarantee you that if he wanted to showcase his talent and get moved in the offseason, he's going to play games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He would absolutely.
It might be a longer stint, but still he's not done for the season.
He's absolutely going to play again this season. And it's because he is going to try and get moved, because I think that's probably what Heimblum's thinking about right now is, okay, how do I clear up the space to play Nolan Gorman or JJ Weatherhold at third base consistently? How do I clear up the outfield space to, if I need to move JJ Weatherhold out there? How do I clear up space on the roster for different things? And some of those things are, maybe it's Lars Nootbaar. There was talk about Burleson. Burleson was drawing interest. Yeah. Whether it's Gorman, whether it's Arenado, if it's any one of those guys, you have to, like, his mind has to be focused on, how do I get this team? Maybe we're not back to contention next year, but we can be back to contention in 2 seasons, which I don't think is going to happen, because I think the lockout's going to happen. But point aside, his mindset is not on how do we get to the team back to into contention for 2026. It's how do I build a consistent contender like the Cardinals were back in the early 2000s and early 2010s.
Exactly. It's just, yeah, the hate on here is just, it's shocking to me, the amount of hate that Nolan Arenado is getting on this in the YouTube comments at the moment for this. And again, Michael Moore chimes in and says his contract's bottlenecking player movement. The excess outfielders is doing the same. How many years now? I mean, we are going on more than a decade. It feels like I like that word, the bottlenecking of excess outfielders. Again, it's been a decade at this point of, okay, hey, these guys next. I mean, you go back to the Piscottis, the Grichiks of the world. When you look at all of these outfielders that keep getting moved in and, okay, not working out, move them out. Bader, O'Neill, add them on to Carlson. Just the list goes on and on of that. You know, a Rosarena part of that, and just all of these guys that have been moved over this last decade.
There has not been a solidified outfield since the Cardinals run in 2011, 2012, 2013 with Holiday, Jay, and even right field was a little bit of conglomeration, because you had Lance Berkman come in 11, and you had Alan Craig playing a little bit of outfield that year in 2013. But that's the thing, is that all of those were like your core 4 guys. Like, you went in, you knew this was going to happen. For the last decade, it's been like 6-7 outfielders that we've had playing different spots at different years at different points, and they give too long of a runway for them, and then they're like, oh well, now we have to move them, we got to move on to this next guy, but we can't get what we would have gotten a year prior for him.
Right.
And that's what happened with Carlson. And while that hasn't worked out, it has bitten the Cardinals in the butt because they moved off of a guy too quick.
More on this in just a second, but this is Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar. And if you're still suffering from supply chain issues and they're disrupting your operations, have no fear. Gray Bar has you covered, and you can rely on their nationwide logistics network to get what you need, where they need, when they need to get there, all within budget. Visit graybar.com to start an order today. That's graybar.com, and fix those supply chain issues with Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Interested to watch and see how much more Ivan Herrera we see in left field this weekend. I think it's a case of when you don't need to get somebody off their feet and DH them, Ivan Herrera is going to be your DH night in and night out. But when the opportunity's there, when you need to get Burleson or Walker or Contreras night off, you're going to throw him out and left, and we're going to see how it goes out there. So far, so good. Hasn't embarrassed himself out there, and it's only going to improve. I mean, he's had there have been some. Just sitting there, and that first fly ball hit to him the other day. Was it Tuesday, I think, or was it Monday or Tuesday? That first one, and he went back, and I think everybody in that press box had shades of Ozuna in their head.
Nothing scares me more than growing up and having to watch Matt Holliday field a fly ball, or sitting in Big Mac land where you can't see left field and Matt Holliday's playing left field and you just see the ball headed that way and you can't see him. You have no idea. So you just sit there and pray. I don't want that to be the case with Ivan Herrera, but it's definitely where it is right now. Maybe him continuing to work with John Jay is going to get him a little bit more comfortable out there. And maybe that's more of a next year thing. Not necessarily that he's not going to do it in the second half. I think he will, but it's more of in a full-time gig. Maybe that's more of a next year thing.
This is, as we go through, keep the comments coming on YouTube. Sam chimes in and saying that it's insane that Ryan Fernandez is back. This is okay. This isn't just, this is kind of overall. This is something that I thought about driving home yesterday after the show, the trade deadline show we did, when I brought up the fact that one of the pitchers in there is currently a AAA guy and probably going to be pitching for the Cardinals at some point this year. Eventually, that people are then looking at his ERA going, he's got a 7 or 8 ERA. How could you? You begged and begged for these trades to happen. You begged for a rebuild, to shut it all down, to tank, to just burn the whole thing to the ground. Who do you think is going to make up for all those players that you're trading? You're not trading away Phil Maton and Ryan Helsley because you have some secret gem down in AAA or AA that you're going to be calling up. When you trade away 3 guys that have been important pieces to your bullpen this year, you're going to suffer with the guys that come up and have to take their place in the end. Ryan Helsley being traded, yes, opens a door for Ryan Fernandez to now come in and pitch innings for you. It's going to happen. And when the Memphis shuttle begins, yes, you're going to get some no-name guys. They just signed a guy a few weeks ago. I can't even remember. Couldn't even tell you the guy's name that they signed. Probably going to pitch for you at some point this year. Who do you think is going to replace these guys? It's delusional thinking that you would trade these guys and somehow come out better on the end of it when you traded for prospects.
You don't sit there and trade Trevor Hoffman and have Mariano Rivera sitting there and waiting. You just don't do it. So you're going to have to suffer. It's going to be a long last 2 months, unless for some reason these guys come up and decide that they want to be lights out again, because that could totally happen because baseball is stupid and weird sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So again, these are all, it's kind of the expectations, kind of what to look for these final 2 months of this. Chewy saying if Gorman does well in these 2 weeks, his runway, does he start to be our main third baseman? No, as long as Nolan Arenado's on your roster, Nolan Arenado is your main third baseman. But time and time again, Nolan Gorman is going to keep getting these opportunities to show that off. Where if he does play well and you want to keep him in the lineup, then he becomes a DH more. Ivan Herrera plays more left, or he plays more second base when Arenado comes back and Brendan Donovan plays left. and it makes more people expendable in the offseason to where you can put a package together for a Nootbaar, or maybe a Burleson, or maybe even Donovan, and see what that return is at the end. So this is if you want to temper if you want to sit there in the comments and sit here and say that this season is, as I see here, is cooked, or to say that this season is over and this isn't a playoff team, then stop having playoff player expectations with every single guy that's going to be run out there.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see the Cardinals make a run at the playoffs and have some 2011-esque resurgence here in the back half. I don't see it happening because I don't see the same type of players that you had in 2011. So you're going to have to struggle. And if you guys want to rebuild, it's going to be a long process, because losing 100 games a year, which the Cardinals won't this year, obviously, and they probably won't next year. But if you want that full, we don't necessarily care about winning rebuild, it is going to be a long process to get back to where the Cardinals were 5 years ago.
Which brings me to a quick preview. We'll do a quick preview of what we have coming up this weekend in San Diego. Before we get to that, though, as you look ahead at the games this weekend, make sure that you download that DraftKings Pick 6 app. It's crazy simple to use. When you download it, you just pick more or less on a stat for two or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. Use the promo code STL Sports. That's STL Sports for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with the first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So on Wednesday, I was doing Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar, here with Mike Claiborne. And one of the things that I brought up to him is he's with the team in San Diego this weekend. I asked him if he thought that we would see fireworks this weekend. Of course, last weekend in the 4-game series, Wilson Contreras got hit a whole bunch. Manny Machado got hit a whole bunch.
Benches for it.
Benches cleared on Friday. Benches cleared on Saturday.
Gives you something to watch.
We saw a lot of drama in that. And Wilson Contreras has been hit a lot this year, and he's fed up with it. And I asked, again, this is knowing Claibs for a long time. I did not expect this answer. A lot of times I will ask questions knowing what kind of answer I'm going to get back. I didn't think he'd be all for the fireworks. He was all for it this weekend, ultimately saying what I think it was Matt Holliday said a few weeks ago on the Cats podcast. At some point, Wilson Contreras has to go out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He one chance, and nobody's going to be going inside for at least 6 months.
Right.
No, nobody's going to test it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be afraid to get walked back down the pitcher's mound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I asked, I said, are we going to see fireworks? And he said Claves' response was that he's being selfish, but he would hope so, saying that at some point, he goes, you can't sit there and get hit 10 times and go, hey, you know what? They're not protecting me. I got to go out there and do something myself. We did see, I will say this, we did see Matthew Libator. I mean, that's protecting your teammate right there. Very first pitch, boom. And I was happy that the umpires had not issued warnings before that, because at that point you still have to let the Cardinals get theirs.
You let the game police itself, and then you let it go and create your warnings and do whatever you want. But when somebody gets hit on one side, especially in the spot that he did get hit and how much he's gotten hit, you let them go get theirs back. And then you say, okay, we're done. No more. We're done. And then, but then the umpires didn't follow it up, because Machado gets hit by Granillo. I thought that was unintentional, by the way. It was not intentional. Ball
it was an 0-2 pitch. I think it was off speed too.
But then, so they don't throw Granillo out because they use their discretion. And then Contreras gets hit, which felt to me as a clear retaliation. And I was kind of surprised that we didn't get fireworks after that one too. I thought that third one, that second hit by pitch, was going to be the third time that the bench is cleared in that game, and that it was gonna be on. But I think that this weekend is going to be very interesting because the Cardinals have, obviously, they just traded some guys. They don't look to be in the hunt. The Padres are in the hunt. It could go down, and you could see it happen.
You had the right guys on the mound tonight for it. Nick Pivetta, who started the whole thing by hitting Wilson Contreras on Friday, who hit Wilson Contreras back in 2024 and hit him in the hand, which caused him to miss a few games. So you have a pitcher in Nick Pivetta who is not afraid to go inside to Wilson Contreras, and Wilson Contreras knows that. And you have Matthew Liberatore, who also showed he's not afraid to throw at guys either. So
he's not afraid to get his get back.
You don't have the arms in the bullpen to get you through a whole lot of games when your pitcher gets ejected, but you have the right guys on the mound to start all that shit tonight.
Oh, I kind of want it to happen just because I feel like it would ignite a little bit of a fire just for fun than the last two months. But obviously I never want to see anybody get hurt from it, but I am rooting for a little bit of fireworks because it just makes the game a little bit more entertaining. Yep. And there's already a little bit of past history. You saw it with John Jay and Manny Machado. They got into it. Jay gets ejected. And apparently they had some beef that I was unaware of until reading after Jay's ejection, like why he was going after Machado the way he did. I read into it, and apparently they got some beef. So there's another thing there. Like, it'd be interesting to see if John Jay gets into it with Machado for another time.
Let's bring it on. 8:40 tonight for the game. We got your post game after every single game this weekend, as we have for every game so far this year here on STL Sports Central. As we turn the page to August, it's August and September baseball. Look forward to seeing what your thoughts are. So leave a comment and let us know what you are looking for with these final 2 months of the season out of the Cardinals, and we will come your way with shows all weekend long with Card Central 365 Saturday and Sunday morning as well. He is Hunter Mulholland. I'm Joe Roderick. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Card Central 365. We're powered by Gray Bar, as always, on STL Sports Central, which is brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.